watch this, you wired everything correctly and the LED is on. And the app, it says your device does not exist. And the most people reset the device, repair it, blame the Wi-Fi. But here's the catch. There are 7 settings inside this app that determine whether your Shelly actually works reliably long term. And I bet you have never touched half of them. So today I'm going to walk you through every single one in the order you actually need them, from the first power up to a configuration you can trust. And let's get started with this. So a quick reality check. This guide works for every Shelly relay. So Pro 1, Plus 1 PM, 1 Mini Gen 3, Uni. The app interface is the same across all of them. So that's why I put all of these devices around like this. And the second, we're not covering wiring today. If you need help with the physical installation, the project-specific videos are linked in the description and pinned comments. And the third, I want you to really hear this one. Settings like detached mode and the static IP. This is the stuff I configure on every single install. My own house, client projects, doesn't matter. Pay attention to those specifically. So your Shelly runs on 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi. And if your phone is 5 GHz, the app spins and you think the device is broken. It's not. Also, turn off your VPN. Turn off cellular data if necessary. These 3 things cause 90% of my Shelly won't connect support threads. So make sure that you arranged everything. And once the powered, tap the LED blinks, open the app and tap the plus if the device does not appear immediately. If the device does not appear like this or by adding a plus, you can go to your Wi-Fi settings here, and then you can find in the Wi-Fi connect directly to your Shelly's own network. So it starts with Shelly and then come back, then followed by model here. And you can connect it like this and go back to the app. That's manual AP mode and it works almost every time. Okay, and now back, I'm just gonna add the device. Okay, add device. And now we're waiting for it to be added to the application. So it takes a bit of time. Doesn't matter, we'll wait. And while waiting, here's what it gets interesting here. So there's something else to mention. The static IP address. So your router assigns a dynamic address by default. So that address can change tomorrow, next week. So, and when it does, your Home Assistant integration breaks. Wall display loses connection. Automation stop firing. And we have to switch from the DHCP to static. And I'm gonna show you that right now, but I'm gonna name this device like Office Main Light. Okay, this is just for testing purposes. And I'm gonna assign it to my room where I want it to have it, where I want to have this device. So save, and it is being added there. Okay, so once added, we can see it here. So I'm gonna toggle it, and we can see that it is actually toggling the light here. So that's one thing here. And now in the settings of this device, I mentioned the DHCP right now recently. So pick an address that you're outside your router's DHCP pool. So we're gonna go here to networks, and as I use the Wi-Fi, I'm gonna add static IP address here. So this is static IP. So we're gonna select something usually below the 192.168.1.100, depending on your IP address of your router. So we are at 0 here, and that means that I'm gonna pick any of these. So I'm gonna just pick like 1.0.80 maybe, or 70, doesn't matter, just for the testing purposes. You have to check which one is right for your range. Also, one suggestion for this, you could add a sheet of all your devices and the static IP addresses in that range. So that means that you could actually know which device is on which IP address without even opening the app, and to make it easier for you to assign new static IP addresses here. So hit save, and this says the device will reboot, and that's fine for us. And it is also going to be connected to the same router and the Wi-Fi that it was there before. So this is the thing that we need here. Also, we can assign optionally DNS, so 1.1.1.1 or 8.8.8.8 from Google. It doesn't matter, whichever you prefer. So right now I'm just gonna keep it as is and going back. So we also have to go after this to the settings like this here, device information, and we can see the address that we got here. And after this, we're gonna go to device settings, and we have to check firmware version. So we see that this device is actually up to date, but if not, we can check for updates. So yeah, maybe your device and firmware is 1 year old, and we just want to have it up to date and to get the latest bug fixes or anything that appears with this firmware. So that was also the important step here. And now regarding the naming, so don't call it Shelly 1, as you could see here. Name it by location and function. So like office main light, living room main light, doesn't matter. So your electrician brain will thank you 6 months later from now, when you have 8 of these in the app and you don't know which one is which. So there's the connectivity foundation. So pairing static IP address, firmware naming. Now let's look at how the device actually behaves. So switch type configuration, that's really important. And I'm gonna navigate here. So settings, device settings. Inside of the device settings, we have input output settings. So here in a switch, we have a few options. So the toggle switch, your standard rocker switch. So we'll flip it. It's flip it on, flip it off. This is your default for most home. Then we have a momentary switch, and that's the one that appears when we select the button type of the switch. And that's a push button that springs back. So the Shelly detects the pulse and toggles the relay. So it's common in newer buildings. So keep these settings in mind. I'm just gonna return it to the switch there. And also there's an edge switch. The edge switch here detects the transition, not the state. So every flip toggles the output regardless of the direction. So this is useful for 3-way circuits or usual switch hardware, or sorry, unusual switch hardware. And also this is important that I use when I want to control the light through my application, and also I want this to toggle it always. So I don't want to switch 2 times. If I turn it off in the app and it was in the on state on the switch, then to have it back on the switch, to turn on actually, I would have to go off and then on just to have it back here. So that's one mistake that happens all the time with the default configuration. But someone wants this type, and that's fine also, just to be aware of that. And also here's one thing: if your switch feels backwards and you selected it like this, off zone is on the opposite sides, you don't rewire anything. You can go here to the input settings. I'm gonna just show you there to the input settings. So just input output settings, this is one, and invert switch here in the settings. So we just we don't have to rewire anything. Sorry if you don't see it. Small. Okay, you see the invert switch, and you just have to enable it, and then it will invert the polarity of the switch, so it will work as you want it. So that's the case. You want the button switch here. That's not actually toggle switch. That's not the edge switch. So for the toggle switch, this works like this. And now power on default mode. So this is also important thing here. And this seems small, but it's not. This determines what happens after a power outage. So on means every time power returns, this relay turns on. So this is the first option here. And fine for a hallway light, but absolutely not fine for a garage door opener. So you don't want it to open your garage doors once the electricity is back. Then we have the off state, so the turn off. Safe, predictable. The device stays off after a power cycle. This is what I use for more circuits, but depends on the if you need it like for the lights or anything else. And also this here is the restore last state. This returns whatever state it was in when power was cut. So this is the best option for lighting in living spaces. So you had your lights turned on, the electricity is off, and it comes back, and then you have your lights on. So, but here's the catch: you run on vacation. Power flickers at 3 a.m. and your outdoor lights are set to on after reboot, and those lights stay on for 6 days while you are gone. Choose based on what the relay actually controls, not what's convenient during the setup. So also one interesting thing here is the match input. If you set this to toggle switch and you have this rocker switch, then it will follow the input of this switch to have it like this. So now here where it gets into the settings that separate a basic install from a proper automation system. So there's a detached switch. So this is it. And in standard mode, your switch controls the relay directly. So flip switch, relay clicks, lights turn on. This is simple. And in detached mode, that connection is broken. So if I save it like this, here, and then you're gonna see I switch and this does nothing, but this switch still sends a signal. The Shelly sees it, but it does not toggle the relay. Instead, it reports that event to our automation system. Okay, so to see that actually in action, I'm gonna just show you this timestamp. When I click it, we see the time that it actually happened, but nothing changed here. So why would you want this? Smart bulbs. If you have a Shelly controlling a circuit with a smart bulb in it, you never want the Shelly to actually cut power, because then bulb goes offline. And detached mode keeps power flowing to the bulb while the switch acts as a trigger for automations. So your switch actually does something else, but the bulb stays online all the time. Now, here's the catch. Once you enable detached mode, that switch no longer turns anything on or off by itself. You need an automation that says, when this input changes, do this action. And that's where the real power is of this setup here. So, and here's also something most people don't know exists. Every Shelly runs its own web server. So no app, no cloud, just the browser and the device IP. So you have this IP address here, like this, device information, and you see that IP address here. Now you can click or type it on your PC, and then you have it like this. So you have a full control panel. You can see the relay status here, every setting. If the web interface loads, the device is working, whatever the app is telling you, so we can control it through this. So this is your actually diagnostic tool. App says offline, but the web interface loads fine. Then the problem is the Shelly cloud, not your device. And so that brings us to cloud versus local. The Shelly cloud gives you remote access from anywhere. That's convenient, but it means Shelly servers sit between you and your device. Here's how I do it. Cloud enabled for initial setup and firmware updates, but for day-to-day control and automation, local protocols with direct HTTP API, the web interface, or MQTT connected to Home Assistant. If the internet goes down, your automations keep running without any problems. So cloud for convenience, local for reliability, you use both. So now let's just let me explain you how to turn off the cloud. So you can see here that the app is it is using cloud. You can see the small cloud here from the interface, but we can go here to device and let me find the option. So networks, okay, and we can see the cloud here. We can click here and remove the cloud device from the cloud. So once we select this, the device won't be available outside of our local network at home. So Wi-Fi, our Wi-Fi. So we can just control it over local networks here. So this is one settings. So there it is, from first pairing to professional configuration. These settings, static IP, the right switch type, a deliberate power on state, and a plan for a local control. They are the difference between a Shelly you reset every few months and the one that runs for years without you thinking about it. If this master guide cleared up the Shelly configuration confusion for you, that like button generally helps the channel, and subscribe if you want more smart home deep dives. I read every comment. Tell me in the comments which Shelly device you're setting up right now and what project it is for. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.